And first of all, Amanda, Naveen, congratulations on the series. The trailer for The Dropout already has over 6 million views. I mean, it just speaks to how fascinated we are by this story. Talk to me a little bit about some of the biggest revelations, things that you two are going to uncover about the story of Elizabeth Holmes with this one.
Listen, we had a lot to work with. I will speak for as playing Elizabeth Holmes. I had a lot to work with, but I still think I'm very much still learning about her.
It's like we're still discovering things because you become emotionally involved with these people, rightly or wrongly. And when we saw the piece, some of that was a revelation.
Yeah, I mean, we were shooting and the trial was going on, and we were becoming privy to a lot of intimate conversations that were had on text between Elizabeth and our characters, Elizabeth and Sunny. And so it was just it at some points none of it surprised me, and then all of it surprised me.
Yeah.
And I will say that I felt like we did a really good job as teammates, using what we had from Liz Merriweather, who created the show and wrote all the things that are imagined. And also we both separately understood who we were playing and understood what we wanted to play. And then we got these text messages and we're like, yeah, we're kind of on the right path.
Yeah, we had to make a decision very early on about, I guess, the intensity or depth of the relationship, how intimate it was. And when you're doing that, you're gambling to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You don't know, and when it was like the play within the play, events happening in real time, and then these texts made us feel that somehow we might have been in the right ballpark.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, Naveen. Maybe you could pick up with this one after that point you just made. We see these texts, it's happening in real time. I'm curious as to how that informs the way that you're playing these roles. Like, do you pivot because you're like, oh crap, these transcripts mean I had that part wrong, or I really had that part right? We know they had that secret love affair. She's calling him Tiger. How did that sort of inform your dynamic and the chemistry that you guys were focused on nailing?
Well, Tiger was somewhat reassuring.
Okay, it was reassuring, yes. I found it a little bit tough to say out loud.
Yeah.
It's not the words that one would choose, really. I mean.
But they did.
Yeah. And they were really into each other, And
you think it's like a really funny thing, but it's true. It's not something that we wrote for humor's sake. It's
there. It's real.
It's their thing, and
it literally wrote itself. Yeah.
It wrote it. Yes, you're the first person who said that, but yes. Liz Merriweather would agree.
Yeah. I want to go into sort of that transformation, Amanda, specifically because we talk about physical transformations and how that informs the role, but with this in particular, Elizabeth was very intentional about her transformation, sort of stepping into this physical embodiment of what it meant for her to be this massive tech superstar. What was it like for you the moment you put on that turtleneck? Did it feel transformative? Did it feel like assuming the Holmes uniform?
It wasn't just, I definitely couldn't have done it with just that, but there were so many elements that came together separately, piece by piece. And when I was in the full suit, I had really absorbed all the mannerisms and done as much as I could in terms of my preparation. I felt like I was in the zone. I felt like I was really safe and warm, and that I had built but that also had been built around me, and with all our amazing people that we our artists, to help make it real. But I will say, because her transformation was so deliberate, it gave me a sort of a freedom, because I wasn't playing someone who spoke a certain way naturally. I was playing someone who spoke a certain way on purpose, and playing someone who presented herself a certain way on purpose at certain times. So therefore, if I fell out of it for a second, or if I feared I would fall out of it for a second, I would be fine. So I didn't fear that so much as I would have playing somebody else.
And what was it like for you sort of tackling that iconic baritone, right? That was even very intentional on Elizabeth's part. She went out of her way to have a certain speaking style. How difficult or easy was that for you? And also, if you could just speak to why it was so important for Elizabeth from what you understand about her.
I think she adopted that deeper voice because she felt like it made her seem powerful. She knew that she was in a world surrounded by men, older men who controlled, a lot of Silicon Valley and a lot of the, money. And I think what she believed that in order to command a room that she needed to be a certain way, I think, and I agree with her in a lot of ways, of course. I know when I speak louder and more from a deeper place in me that I'm going to be heard better, especially as an actor, like a stage actor. Like that's one of the first things you learn. And in terms of getting there, I know I physically cannot get that low as she can. And I know that, and I knew that going in. So I wasn't going to put pressure on myself to do that.
Right.
And I went as low as I could go. And it's my version of her, so she was going as low as she could go. I was going as low as I could go. It can be the same thing.
I am so sorry. I just keep hearing, how low can you go?
Yeah.
No,
that's fine.
I had to say that.
I did that on purpose. No, I'm kidding. I didn't
I see what you did. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Amanda.
That was totally not deliberate, but yeah, I mean, how low can you go?
Right. And really quickly here, most shocking revelation. What stood out to you both most out of all that you uncovered?
Oh boy. Wow. Nobody's asked me that yet.
Overall, how credulous people are. People want to believe.
Yeah.
And it seems to extend to all a myriad of the field of human relations and experience. It's like religion, politics. People want to believe.
Yeah. And man, it's fake it till you make it. And it's the truest thing. I was watching The Eyes of Tammy Faye a couple weeks ago, and that scene when Andrew Garfield is in the car and he drives up and she's like, "What is this? You can't afford this." And that amazing accent. And I looked over at my husband, I was like, and that was it. Like, they can't afford, but if you build up all these things, what actually has to be true anymore for people?
Wow.
And that's exactly what happened here. And because she believed, they believed. And listen,
and that was enough for him because he was besotted with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy. It's crazy. Humans.
Humans. That in itself is an answer. Just humans, period, right?